Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the USA. My name is Zhao Haisheng. I'm the Minister Counselor for Cultural Affairs in the Embassy. Tonight, on behalf of His Excellency, the Chinese Ambassador Cui Tiankai, Madame Xu Xueyuan, Minister of the Chinese Embassy, kindly host this reception in honor of the visiting Shanghai Symphony Orchestra. Ambassador Cui sent his regards and regrets for being unable to attend this function because this is an important meeting he has to attend. Now, without further ado, I'd like to invite Minister Xu to come to the podium to address the occasion. Minister Xu.
Ms. Zhou Ping, President of the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra, Mr. Yu Long, Music Director, Ms. Li Ann Myslowski, I hope I pronounce your name right, Vice President of Wolf Trap Foundation for the Performing Arts, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. First of all, on behalf of His Excellency Ambassador Cui Tiankai, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the visiting Shanghai Symphony Orchestra and our American friends who kindly joined us at this reception. Just as the Minister Counselor Zhao said, we all believe Ambassador Cui Tiankai would very much love to join us tonight. But if you pay some attention to the news reports, you will find that there is a very important bilateral meeting between senior Chinese official Yang Jiechi and the U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo early today in New York. So Ambassador Cui is now in New York. Otherwise, he would be here to welcome an orchestra from his hometown. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Wolf Trap Foundation for the Performing Arts for your tireless efforts in making the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra's Washington tour possible. We're gathered here this evening to celebrate the outstanding accomplishments achieved by the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra over the last 140 years. As the earliest and the best-known ensemble of its kind in Asia, the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra's history follows that of China's symphonic music development. Since its inception in 1879, the SSO has held over 10,000 concerts and played a major role in collaborations between world-class musicians on both the international and domestic stage. Acclaimed by the New York Times as China's most venerable orchestra, the SSO has now emerged as a cultural leader whose musical impact can be felt across Asia and the rest of the world. The 140-year-old Shanghai Symphony Orchestra has also borne witness to the remarkable development of modern and contemporary China. In its first 70 years, the orchestra saw the bullying and the humiliations imposed on China by imperialistic powers and the warfare among warlords, as well as the suffering and struggle of the Chinese people wedged between hunger and cold in a semi-feudal and semi-colonial society. By contrast, in the following 70 years, the orchestra has witnessed the growth of the People's Republic of China, in which the Chinese people stood up and strove for national independence, reform and opening up, and prosperity along the path blazed by the Communist Party of China. Ladies and gentlemen, Tomorrow, we will be joining the opening night of the orchestra's 2019 World Tour in Wolf Trap National Park for the Performing Arts, which serves a symbol of the power of people-to-people exchanges between our two great nations. Although the current status of China-US relations presents certain challenges, there is no way for the China-US relations to be caught in the recently overhyped Thucydides trap. There are two common sense reasons why the US and China will continue to find areas of cooperation. First, China is a 5,000-year-old civilization that focuses on seeking harmony without uniformity and champions the idea that the world is for all people. China's goal is not to challenge or replace other countries, but rather to help Chinese people achieve a better life. In this regard, China pursues a people-centered development philosophy and strives to build a new model of international relations featuring win-win cooperation and a community with a shared future for mankind. These endeavors are made to better safeguard world peace and promote common development. China will open its arms wide to embrace the world, share in development opportunities, and enjoy common prosperity with other countries, as well as enhance dialogue, exchanges, and mutual learning between different civilizations. Second, since the establishment of diplomatic relations 40 years ago, the friendship established between our two peoples have only deepened the relationship between our two countries. And the interests of our two countries are so closely intertwined that we stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. As a result, neither China nor the US can afford for this really important relationship to fail. The China-US relationship is now at a crossroads. In June, President Xi Jinping and President Donald Trump had a meeting in Osaka, Japan, where they agreed to continue to push forward a relationship based on coordination, cooperation, and stability. This has chartered the course for the growth of bilateral relations. At this stage, we must ensure that the consensus reached between our two presidents is fully implemented, expand our cooperative efforts to be based on the principles of mutual benefit, manage differences based on mutual respect, and ensure the growth of bilateral relations in a healthy and steady manner. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to applaud once again the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra and the Wolf Trap Foundation for embracing the vision to enhance people-to-people exchanges and the China-US relations by bridging the hearts of our people with music. Tomorrow at Wolf Trap, the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra will present to the American audience a concerted and harmonious symphonic music conducted by Maestro Yulong and featuring noted American cellist Alisa Weilerstein. I believe that the governments of our two countries, like the artists of the orchestra, will also make concerted and harmonious efforts to keep the China-US relationship moving forward on the right track. I wish the orchestra's US and World Tour great success, and I look forward to many more cultural exchanges in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Xu, for your kind words and wonderful insights. Now it gives me great pleasure to welcome Madame Zhou Ping, the President of Shanghai Symphony Orchestra, to come to the podium to make a speech.
Madam Minister Xu, all distinguished guests, our musicians, and our partners, our colleagues here, I'm very excited and happy at the moment. When the first time we know our embassy will hold a special reception to welcome Shanghai Symphony Orchestras, we feel, wow, the whole orchestra, so many members. It's really touching and made us, the first day to States for the tour, and we just feel like at home. Thank you so much. And also, please express our gratitude to Mr. Cui Tiankai, our ambassador. I know he cannot be here tonight, but all these detailed arrangements, so fantastic, very impressive. I mean, this will be a very memorable time for all the members in Shanghai Symphony Orchestra. At the very beginning, I had planned to introduce a little bit about Shanghai Symphony Orchestra, but I just realized that every people here seems to know a lot of information about Shanghai Symphony Orchestra. Oh, really? Yes, this is an orchestra with glory history across 3 centuries. A great name, a great orchestra. This orchestra established in 1879, and it is the first orchestra to welcome and introduce the Western music into China. And this is the first orchestra to play first-time Chinese symphonic piece. And this is the very first orchestra to educate so many Chinese young people to play orchestra instruments and to learn music. And this is the reason why the first conservatory of music was established in Shanghai. So we have so many connections. Last year, we even established a Shanghai Symphony Museum to tell the story of the glory history. So welcome all the guests. If next time you come to Shanghai, welcome to Shanghai Symphony Orchestra, to visit our new hall for the concerts, and to visit the Symphony Museum as well. We, Shanghai Symphony Orchestra, we have a slogan: music connecting worlds. The world of different nations, the world of different culture. We have a history 140. Yeah, this year we celebrate a lot for this glory history. We are very, very old orchestra. But look at us, we're quite young, right? So now the orchestra is a group of members full of energy, full of passion, full of imagination and creativity. I can't believe in the past years, especially in the past 10 years, we established so many new projects and made so many new grants. From the excellent orchestra season to Shanghai Orchestra Academy. And the Academy this year is the 5 years anniversary as well. From the Mr. Music Festival, which is 10 years old, and to the Shanghai Isaacson Violin Competition. From this stunning Forbidden City concert to the new CD release cooperation with the most famous classical recording brand, Deutsche Grammophon. So many things just happened in the past 10 years. It's a miracle. So I want to take this opportunity also thank all the musicians, our management, staff, our media partners, especially our music director, Long Yu, who leads the orchestra in the past years, with all the members together to make so many miracles happen. And tomorrow, we will start our first concert of this tour. Actually, Shanghai Symphony Orchestra been here for many times. And this time, so special. The first day we back home, I feel it will be a very warm beginning of the whole tour. And after World Trap concert, we will tour to Chicago for Ravinia Festival, to Edinburgh Festival, to BBC Proms, Luton Festival, and Graphic, and also the Concertable in Amsterdam. The tour, I believe, will be a milestone in the history of all the Chinese orchestras. So today, happy birthday to Shanghai Symphony Orchestra. And I'm glad to be a part of the history, and thank you for all your support to make us come to here. Thank you.
Thank you, Madame Zhou. Thank you very much for your words and introduction, which helps us to understand the orchestra a lot better. Next, I'd like to invite Madame Lian Mileski, Vice President of Wolf Trap Foundation for the Performing Arts, to make some remarks.
Thank you. Minister Hu, Mrs. Zhu Ping, thank you all for your kind words and for inviting me here tonight. Maestro Yu, Ms. Weilerstein, and members of the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra, on behalf of the Wolf Trap Foundation for the Performing Arts, I welcome you to the United States. We are thrilled to celebrate this momentous occasion with you. As the only national park for the performing arts in the U.S., Wolf Trap occupies a special place in our nation's cultural profile. The Feline Center was crafted for classical music, and since it opened in 1971, thousands of Americans have been exposed to symphonic masterworks performed by titans of the tradition. Tomorrow will be no exception. We are excited to introduce the breathtaking Shanghai Symphony Orchestra and Maestro Yu to our community of arts lovers. We are just an afternoon's drive away from Monticello, the estate of our third president, Thomas Jefferson. He wrote, and I quote, "Music furnishes a delightful recreation for the hours of respite from the cares of the day and lasts us through life." We cherish the opportunity to celebrate the orchestra's 140th anniversary with you and look forward to taking a sweet respite from our own cares to revel in your music. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madame Mileski. That concludes the speech part of this reception. Next, the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra is going to entertain us with its fabulous Polaris string-quartet performance. There's going to be 3 musical pieces. The first one is a traditional Chinese music piece called Eternal Love and Friendship. The second piece is the American Quartet, composed by Antoine Dvorak. And the third one is a suite of traditional Chinese music. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in putting your hands together to welcome the Shanghai Polaris String Quartet and enjoy their wonderful performance. Thank you.
Thank you.